The Mediterranean sun was hot, but the night was even hotter when my stepbrother Leo caught me taking a midnight swim in the villa's infinity pool. He thought he was just going to tell me to go to bed. He didn't realize that under the moonlight, the family rules don't exist. Now, the pool is our secret, and the water is deeper than he ever imagined. The villa in Ibiza was white, stone and glass, perched over a cliff where the Mediterranean looked like blue silk. My parents were so happy to have the whole family together for 2 weeks. But as soon as we unpacked, I saw Leo's face. He looked uncomfortable. He's always been the shy one, the one who follows the rules. He didn't know how to handle me in a bikini, and I made sure I was wearing the smallest one I owned. Dear listeners, before I began telling this complicated story of my life, I ask you to support my channel, subscribe, leave a like and write the comment which city you are listening from. This is very important for us, and now enjoy listening. The sun was brutal. During the day, we'd all sit by the infinity pool, but Leo would never get in while I was there. He'd hide behind his book, his eyes darting toward me every time I stood up to tan. I'm his stepsister, and I know exactly what he's thinking. He thinks that if he stays quiet, the feeling will go away. But I'm not quiet, and I wasn't going to let this vacation end without a splash. I waited until 2 a.m. The villa was silent, the only sound being the cicadas in the olive trees. I walked out to the pool, the moonlight making the water look like liquid silver. I didn't turn on the lights. I just slipped into the water, feeling the cool shock against my skin. Then, I heard the sliding glass door. Leo was standing on the balcony, looking down. He thought I was asleep. I looked up, the water rippling around my shoulders. "The water is perfect, Leo," I whispered, my voice carrying in the still night air. "Or, are you afraid of getting wet?" He came down. He was wearing nothing but swim trunks, his chest rising and falling quickly. He didn't say a word. As he slipped into the deep end, I swam toward him, my movements slow and deliberate. When I reached him, I put my hands on the edge of the pool, trapping him between the tiles and me. "We're a long way from home, Leo," I murmured, my face inches from his. "And out here, the rules of the house don't apply." I pulled him closer, the water swirling around us. As the accident finally began, I didn't just want a kiss. I wanted to drown out his hesitation. We moved from the edge to the submerged steps. I showed him that being a good brother was a waste of time in a place like this. The dark windows of our parents' bedroom overlooking the pool. Every time a light flickered inside the villa, Leo would freeze, but I would only pull him deeper. I was the one in control. By the time the moon began to set, he wasn't my brother anymore. He was my secret. The first light of dawn began to touch the horizon. We stood in the shallow end, exhausted, the water now feeling warm like a second skin. Leo looked at the house, the reality of the morning starting to set in. "We have to go in," he whispered, "before they wake up." I reached out and grabbed his wet hair, forcing him to look at me. "We'll go in," I said, a slow smile spreading across my face. "But tomorrow, we're going to the private cove, just us. And if you even think about staying behind, I'll tell Mom exactly what you were doing." At 3 a.m., the story ends with us walking back to the villa, leaving wet footprints on the white stone. As we reached the glass doors, I turned back to the pool. "The water looks different now, doesn't it, Leo?" I whispered. He didn't answer, but the way he looked at me told me everything. The vacation had only just started. The breakfast table was a battlefield of silence. I sat there, sipping my espresso. Every time our parents looked at us, I felt a rush of adrenaline. They saw two siblings who had finally stopped bickering. They didn't see the wet footprints we'd left on the stone floor, At 4 a.m., Leo and I are going to take the motorboat out, I announced, not looking up from my phone. There's a cove around the headland I want to see. My dad smiled, thrilled we were bonding. Leo didn't have a choice. He knew, if he said no. The boat ride was loud, the engine roaring against the turquoise waves, but as soon as we rounded the cliffside and the villa disappeared, I stood up and let the wind catch my hair. Out of reach. The only thing between us and the horizon was the heat. The cove was a perfect crescent of white sand, hidden by jagged limestone walls. I told Leo to drop the anchor. The water here was so clear. It looked like glass. I didn't wait for him to help me off the boat. I dove in. The salt water stinging my skin in the best way possible. It's a private beach. Leo, I called out, my voice echoing off the cliffs. No cameras. No parents.